All right. There is another thing, and I'm going to mute this because I don't want to get hit by YouTube. But I don't want to talk about this. So we're going to mute this. We're going to mute this. And I'm not going to watch this trailer, but I am going to kind of go through a couple of scenes and kind of point out why, when I first saw this, why I was excited. And then my excitement died down. You all know what I'm about to talk about. It is the Golden Axe trailer. So I am a huge, huge, huge. I don't have enough huge number of words to describe how much of a fan I am of this franchise. I remember the first time I played this in the arcade. I even actually made a old video about this. Actually, if you go way back on my channel, I made a video actually talking about my first experience with this game. Okay. To make a long story short, me and my family, back when me and my brother were like, I want to say we were like 13, 14, somewhere around there, maybe even closer to 16. We went on a family trip, and one of the hotels that we stayed at had a Golden Axe arcade. So, like, I remember me and my brother were like, we were asked our parents, they had a pool, right? And we asked our parents, hey, can we go swim in the pool? And they were like, yeah, sure. So we got our swimming trunks and stuff ready. And as we're on our way, we walked past this Golden Axe arcade. I've never seen the game before in my life before that point. We both literally stopped and backed up and looked, and we're like, fuck the pool. I want to play that game. So we got a bunch of quarters out my dad had already given us for like sodas and stuff. And we just sat and played that game nonstop. I think we actually got to the end. Our parents were freaking out, wondering where the hell we were because we were not at the pool. We were at a Golden Axe arcade playing it in our swimming trunks. And from that day on, I just fell in love with that game. I got all of them on Genesis. You know, I got Golden Axe 1, 2, and 3. I even had the fighting game. I think it was the Duel for Sega Saturn. I love Golden Axe. So to give context to just how much I loved this franchise. And I wish we could get a decent... Okay, Golden Axe Beast Rider, it was okay. It was... A lot of people hated it. I didn't mind it. But it wasn't the same. Let me catch up with chat here. More huge than Singularity in the center of our galaxy. Yes, 100% bigger than that. They should have made it look like Lady Death, Demonicon. 100%. I will be playing that on stream. That's coming out soon, by the way. Yeah. So, you know, the studio that made the Streets of Rage 4 game? I was really hoping they would do like a Golden Axe 4 or something like that. I thought that would have been awesome. But anyway, I'm going to kind of go through this a little bit. I'm not going to watch this, but there's some things I want to point out. Okay. First of all, the art style. Now, there was one particular scene. I think it was this one right here. Hold on. Like, okay, and I'll explain my main problem here in a second. Okay, this scene, hold on, go back. This right here. This right here kind of said it all for me.
What the hell is even that?
That is not Tyrus Flare. You know, I will show you. I will show you what Tyrus Flare looks like. Hold on a second. Let me show you. That right there is Tyrus Flare. Right there. That right there. Okay? Oh, hold on. Stupid thing. Yeah, see right here in the middle. That's it right there. Okay? That's Tyrus Flare. Whatever that is. And not only that. Yeah, exactly. They made her face look like a dude. Now, in some of the other scenes, you know, were a little bit better, but my main issue with this is they took something that I feel like should have been more of a dark fantasy, because Golden Axe, you know, okay, if you actually watch the interview with the creator of this game, a Japanese dude, huge fan of Conan the Barbarian, the 80s Arnold Schwarzenegger movies. In fact, if you go back and play the game, you can blatantly hear he took sound bites from that. blatantly, like they're there, right? A lot of like the enemy screaming sounds and stuff like that, all taken from that movie. They're exactly those. They're exactly taken from that. That's how much of a fan he was. So for me to, like I said, when I first saw this trailer, I was hyped because we haven't had a Golden Axe anything in years, really. And then I went back and kind of watched it again, and then I watched it again. And they got some gags in here. There's some blood and gore, obviously, that which does fit. Oh yeah, this dude from Golden Axe 3. I can't remember what the cat's name was, but yeah, I know he's from Golden Axe 3. I don't know what they're doing there, but they Rick and Morty'd this thing. And this art style, like what is this art style? I don't know. I'm really disappointed. I was super hyped, and then after I went back and watched it, I'm like, man, I'm not hyped about this anymore. Old art makes her look like a pinup girl. New art, nah, dude looks like a lady, right? I mean, and like, here, let me see. Like, you can here. Let me go off just to make sure, because like, I'll go. Let me look up. I'll show you the actual sprite, which we all know. Oh, I kind of like this like sprite art right here. Let me see if I can like open this up. Hold on. Kind of like this one. I kind of like how it's obviously like fan made, but that's really cool. That's really close to what she actually looks like, but it's more like this, right? It's more like that. So that's Tyrus Flare. Not whatever this is. And then not only that, but like even Axe Battler, and I think they changed his name. I can't. I'll have to go back. I guess I'll have to watch this again. But I think they changed Axe Battler's name. And then another thing, like everyone look at what they did to Gilius. Hey, what's going on, Light Ferret? Good to see you over on Kick. Like they took the old school pixel resolution and upscaled without softening the curves. Yeah, exactly. They took the pixels and then brought in the artist from like Rick and Morty. Well, maybe not quite Rick and Morty, but like I'm trying to think where I've seen this art style before. Well, I mean, I guess it's pretty common all over the place. Rick and Morty, or what's that one cartoon? Total Drama Action, I think is what it's called. It used to play on Cartoon Network. Kind of reminds me of that. Dave the Barbarian. Now that's not to say like Thundercats Roar. Yeah, it has a very, very similar art style to that. And that's not to say you can't have like a sword and sorcery like this that is goofy. One idea me and a buddy had for an actual beat 'em up game also was a game called Kargoth and Slag. That's what we were gonna name the barbarian characters, and we were gonna make like it was gonna be like a parody, right? Like we were gonna have the like barbarians like ride in on these dragons that don't have wings, kind of like motorcycles, and kind of give them the motorcycle sound, and then have them make fun of the guys for riding, like saying who rides dragons without wings, and then having them laughing, and then the one guy then the barbarian will pull the guy's tongue out and start a brawl fight, and then you go into the game. So you could do that, but that was just obviously that idea never happened. But it was something that we talked about, we thought was funny. So there's room for this kind of thing. There was another one too. I can't remember. There's like an Adult Swim like sword and sorcery cartoon. I think it only had one episode. Oh, ironically, I think it was called Kargoth. Now that I think about it, maybe that's where I had gotten the name. But there was that. But for Golden Axe, no. And I saw someone on X try to defend this and say, oh, well, because a lot of people are like, well, why is it comedy? Why is it goofy? And someone's like, well, at the end of the first arcade game, it shows two kids playing the arcade and the enemies jump out of the arcade and chase them. Yeah, I know. It was a fun. It's like that's one of the only really few instances of goofiness in the entire series. The rest of it is like super dark and serious. I don't know, guys. I wanted to be excited for this. I really did. And And then, like, you hear Gilius at the end say, "Let's freaking go," and it's like, they wouldn't talk like that. I don't know. I'm gonna close that. I'm just disappointed because I love Golden Axe. And this looks like doo-doo butter, honestly.